Hi, I'm Panda Hershey, and over the last 7 years, I've helped people use their astrological compass to navigate relationships and challenging situations so that they can actually enjoy life. Welcome to the February 7th Coffee and Charts call, where we talk about letting the next 2 weeks show us the through line from all the effort we gave in 2023 to the work ahead in 2024. And if there's work that you thought would be done by now, it's okay because you've gotten a 1 year extension. Life is going to speed up even a bit more between now and mid March. So hang in there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. And I want to welcome you to Coffee and Charts for today. And what we'll be doing is looking for a couple weeks ahead to some of the energies that are coming. And I love doing this. I feel like 2 weeks is a good amount of time because it's enough to look out where you're not focused on the day to day exactly. You've got a bigger vision of, okay, over these 2 weeks, this is what I'm going to encounter. And I'm going to take that vision and try to live through it. And then I'll get another check in. But it's not so much that it's like, oh my God, I've forgotten everything that was said. So, where are we today? At this point, right now, what you can see. So, just to orient you, this is a snapshot of the universe today. Now, what I do is I maintain this whole like Aries, Taurus, Gemini all the way around in a very steady like framework, and then you'll watch the planets move in this direction through. So some of the planets don't move very much. Something like Pluto, you'll barely be able to see, but the moon, it is a very light blue, and I'm just realizing I lost. It might be hidden behind the Venus. Is in a very light blue, this color, and will zip around about 12 and a half to 14 degrees every day. So it moves quickly. But that's what we'll see day by day. And up to this point, for the last few days, Mercury here in green has moved through last year's Pluto portal and this year's Pluto portal. And what that has done over the weekend is essentially had us think through what we did, what we've gone through, and not only that, how that sets the stage for the work ahead. And there may be some projects that you thought, I would have had this done by now. And it just hasn't turned out that way. But it's like getting an extension on your term paper. It's like, oh, okay, it's not done yet? No problem. Take another year. And this is that opportunity. It's a relief rather than an opportunity to beat yourself over the head or let someone else do that to you. To recognize that there was just more involved in this project, as well as an opportunity to do it even better. Because what you know now versus what you knew a year ago is completely different. You have so much more experience and wisdom that you can fine tune whatever that project is so much better. And if we think about it as the outcome will be better in the long run because we have this experience and this extra time, then hopefully that gives you a bit of a sigh of relief. It's like, oh, phew, it's going to be okay. So that is what we have gone through over the weekend and to about yesterday. And notice that Mars is right here, right behind, and it's going to be moving through, and Venus is behind that. So those two planets are going to start marching through that Pluto portal over these next 2 weeks, and we'll get that last bit of wrapping up 2023 and full steam ahead on the work for 2024. And where else are we also today? Today is the day that the Saturn portal completes at 7 degrees of Pisces. So all of last year, Saturn was in the small range of about half a degree to 7 degrees of Pisces. And I have talked about this as that small group of people who were in the same boat with you. There was some big vision possibly that you had, and you all kind of got that vision. And there was some intense work to be done, stuff that you guys had to do together. People chose to be in that boat with you. And there were some people who you were surprised were not in that boat with you. And that's okay. But as this portal completes, this is a time to recognize that some of the people who were in the boat are ready for a new adventure. Sometimes we start out on a journey with similar intentions, similar visions, and it doesn't always work out to keep going together. That they take that vision and they're ready for a new adventure. And this is kind of that recognition of that. And in a few weeks, we'll start going through that I'll call it separation process, but that space of saying, you know what? I think we get to go our own way now. We did some great work together. It does not change the bond you had and that you built over that time, but we're all headed in different directions, and that's all right. And some people will stick around and new people will come in, and that's all okay. So that is where we are at. And so let's just take a look at how the planets keep going over the next 2 weeks. On the 10th, and so that is Saturday, Mars hits 28 degrees of Capricorn, which is the start of last year's Pluto portal. So this may feel like defending the work that you did, either to yourself. It may be an opportunity to um, either be excited about, oh my God, I did so much, versus, oh my God, why didn't I work harder? I wish if I had known, I would have done this. But someone else can do that to you as well. But this is that opportunity to revisit that really with your heart in it. And it moves through for a few days. And on Monday, Mars will enter the 2024 Pluto portal while it's still moving through the 2023 Pluto portal. And this is that overlap between each year. Pluto doesn't like completely end and move on to the next section of its work. It allows a little overlap so that some projects just take a little bit more time. And this is that bridging portion of, okay, I can see the through line to what I did last year and how it's still work that needs to be finished up in the new year. And then the next day, Mars will leave the 2023 Pluto portal, cross over Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius. So if you have a tool somewhere at 1 degree, you may feel like there is a fire under your rear end to get going. And just be gentle with yourself as this happens. And then the next day, Venus, right behind Mars, enters that Pluto portal. It's almost like validation that you did the best you could. And if you're defending the work that you did to someone else, it may be the point at which they say, you know what, I get it now. You did great. And here's all you accomplished. And as Venus continues to move through the portal, it is allowing you to see that vision of what's ahead and saying, okay, what you planned is great. So I'm sorry, I've got something here where I can't see that. There we go. February 15th, Mars leaves the 2024 portal at 2 degrees of Aquarius. And Venus enters the next day, the 2024 Pluto portal, and leaves the 2023 Pluto portal on the same day. And the next day, it crosses over Pluto. So validation of the work ahead, your intention to change things and move up to a higher level somewhere in your life, wherever this 1 degree of Aquarius is. Then on the 18th, Venus leaves this year's Pluto portal. So it's really a nice period of finishing up and seeing how 2023 connects to 2024. And then on the 19th, the sun starts marching through that Saturn portal from last year, the one that just ends today. So it is about doing things that feel like completion of whatever that work is that you did with that small group of people in your boat. And perhaps this is the point at which you, I don't know, acknowledge, celebrate all that you guys accomplished. And on the 21st, we meet again. So what I like to do is go back and, without the commentary, watch the movement of the planets. If I can get this into move. Move this arrow out of the way. Okay. So you'll just watch, a fun thing to watch is Venus and Mars marching through the portal, as well as the moon moving quickly around the circle. All right, here we go. All right, any questions? Made sense?
No, I love your software. I'm like really digging watching that. As a
Awesome.
non-tech
It's a
person,
manual process, actually.
well, it works.
I create each of these slides individually. Yeah. Although
really
I'm starting to outsource it. Yeah.
What is in Leo over there? I can't, my eyesight's not that great.
This is the moon right now.
Okay.
So in 2
Cool.
weeks, we'll get, basically it'll be the full, not full moon, but it'll be moon opposite. Well, it'll be close.
Yeah.
Opposite Pluto, and then a little bit later, 2 days later, it'll be
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
full moon. Yeah.
I'm just, looking at that emptiness on that side thinking, boy, we sure got a lot of work to do over here, apparently. So,
Well, and that's where, that's the other side of the year, and where you feel so stretched. And it's kind of this pulsation, like similar to last year, you felt this huge stretch during the fall of like working on some things while you've got this other deeper work going on. But with everything crowded over here, this creates intensity instead of stretch. Does that make sense?
it
But
does.
it visually, it explains so much in a way that it's like, okay, now I get it. And I know it will be over. Things to keep in mind over the next 2 weeks is to look for that through line from 2023 to 2024. There was this push that you started making last year to level up in some way, to discard the structures, the frameworks, the way you always operated, to say that doesn't serve me anymore. It served its purpose. It was very useful. I needed it up to this point, but now I'm ready to let them go, and what I call level up in life. And you get to have a second chance for some of that last bits of leveling up, as I talked about earlier. And it's all about having a little more experience now that helps you land perhaps in a different spot in terms of leveling up, because you've had this year of experience. And so all of 2024 gets to be that opportunity. Even though Pluto is in Aquarius right now, it will return to Capricorn from September 1st until mid-November. And so that will be a time maybe to make even a few more adjustments. But again, you won't know what those are until you've kind of lived up till that point. And so just allowing yourself to push ahead and see what you can do, and then being able to retreat and kind of modify it and make it work for you in the fall is all possible. And finally, as you release 2023, who on your team is now ready to move on to a different adventure? And you might be the one leaving that boat, which is totally fine. So again, with today, the Saturn portal from last year completing, how is that shared vision of those that were in your boat now complete? Then from the 10th to the 15th, we've got Mars moving through both 2023 and 2024 Pluto portals with that overlap. It's exact at 1 degree of Aquarius on the 13th. So how are you defending or standing up for or putting your heart into the work that you did and carrying it forward into 2024? And with Venus right on its tail, moving through that same portal from the 14th to the 18th, February 17th, being exact at 1.5 degrees of Aquarius. Where's the validation? Where is the acknowledgement? It's a time to give a compliment to someone else when you see how much they've worked and perhaps they're struggling with their own vision of how they are making this effort to move further ahead in their lives in a way that's helping them and letting go of structures that don't work for them anymore. How can you provide that encouragement to someone else where you see it? And finally, on the 19th, for a week, as the sun moves through this Saturn portal over here in Pisces, what are you doing that feels like closure on that work that you did with that small group of people you shared some intense experience with? And it's the beginning of that separation process. So, tips to thrive. Every planet is moving forward right now. So it is a very, very busy time. The way to, I find, the way to manage this is to decline anything like your rest time lies in the places where you say no. I hope that makes sense. If you can imagine it, it's going to get even busier between now and mid-March. Like we are all praying for the Mercury retrograde, right? That's when things will at least start to slow down a little bit. I love them. And that won't happen. The portal doesn't open until mid-March. So it's going to get a little bit faster. Over the next 2 weeks, just be prepared to be reminded in perhaps challenging ways or exciting ways, but also to get some validation for all that you did last year and where it goes from here. And as you recognize the people that have worked so hard with you through 2023, some of them are going to move on. And this is that time to start seeing who that might be and recognizing that there will just be this slow separation process over the next month and a half or so. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and just see if there are any questions.
Where exactly is Saturn? I couldn't see the numbers from, my eyesight's not that good.
That's okay. Saturn is in Pisces right now. So at about 7 degrees of Pisces. Okay. And if you are one of these people that was born in 65, 66, you're approaching your Saturn return, which might be short. if there's just one pass through, there's this very narrow band between 7 to 12.5 degrees, where if your Saturn is in that range, it's like a quick Saturn moves through and it doesn't go back and forth over it. If you've got Saturn from about 12.5 to 19.5 degrees, then you will have a longer 1 year Saturn return. That will be this restructuring over a year versus, I'm going to say an instant, but it's a prolonged process. So those of you born in that range, just be aware of that. Okay. Any other questions? Daisy, it's so great to have you.
Yeah, no, you gave me a lot to think about, actually. And it's funny, you were saying validation. I'm just in this whole situation right now. And I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, gosh, I just wish I'd hear from this one place. I have to move. It was anyway. And I'm sitting here wishing I'd hear from him, and it pops up in the back of the screen. You have a message. So I always love when that happens. Yeah. So that's, you
That's
were saying, yeah, expect some validation. I'm like, well, that could come early, that'd be okay.
excellent. And if it requires time to be worked out, like
Yeah.
you've got these next 2 weeks. So that gives you a time frame to like, okay, I can sit with that and not just be here wondering when this is going to happen. So I hope it's helpful.
Yeah, that's great.
Good. Well, it's so great to have you. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Anyone watching the replay, just drop me a line. I'm here to help and support you, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, cool.
Yay. Thank you. I hope you feel prepared to move easily through the next 2 weeks. Because it's going to get even busier between now and mid-March, consider that all the rest and time you need for yourself lies within all those activities that you say no to. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by all the changes that 2024 is bringing, just shoot me an email at panda@yourfullexpression.com to learn more about how you can work with me to navigate those relationships and challenging situations this year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.